Okay, so this is a full mechanical keyboard, so full travel switches, full-size keycaps, the whole thing. Now look at how thin it is. That's the GLITTER65 L01, and for a full travel keyboard, it low-key broke my brain a little bit. Hey everyone, welcome back to Scoop Bar. Quick thing while that's on screen, that's the real board on our actual desk, shot on our own rig, so no render, no AI, real light, real jib, and hand movement. We shot everything in-house, so when something looks good on this channel, that's just what it looks like. You're welcome. This one's sponsored by Moeetech. They make the board and they sell it direct. The take here is mine, the good and the bad, and you'll hear both. Moeetech did not get to see this video before it went up. Standard Scoop Bar deal. So I know most of you watching haven't been here before, so welcome. Glad you found us. Scoop Bar is two people, me, my name is Jeff, and V, making keyboard reviews around our day jobs. No huge warehouse, studio, no big team. If that's your kind of thing, the subscribe button helps more than you think, and anything I mentioned today, the links are down below in the description. So here's the GLITTER65 L01, 65% layout, wired only, and it comes as a kit. You bring your own switches and keycaps and build it yourself, 150 USD, 6 two-tone colorways, and 2 versions on the top case, one with Feel the Click engraved on top, and one without. The unboxing is honestly nicer than what the price suggests. The box itself is solid enough to store the board long term, except the lid doesn't lock down, so if it takes a tumble off a shelf, the board's going to fall right out. I honestly would love to have a carrying case here. There are also extra spare parts in the box too, which I always love to see. And a note here, the group buy lists free glitter stabilizer as a perk. Ours didn't show up, but I was told the production units will have the free stabs if that's something you're counting on. I'll put the exact dimensions on the screen, but the headliner number here is the height. Front height is 17.9 millimeters at a 3-degree angle. That's low, and it's really low for an aluminum custom keyboard. So I think the look is the main point of this board in my opinion. The case is CNC 6063 aluminum with 220 grit anodized finish, and it's pretty good, surprisingly good for the money. The colorways are two-tone, so 2 different case pieces in different colors. So it reads like a design object, not a slab. Then there's the glow. The top case has cutout along the sides, and the RGB leaks out through them. That's the glitter ring, full key, programmable. At the end of the day, it's kind of a preference thing if you like the RGB. I do think this one's done more uniquely than most. Now, one small thing I do appreciate, there's a plain version with no engraving at the top, because not everyone wants a slogan on their keyboard, which, quick one for the comments, badge or no badge? I personally always prefer a more minimalist design myself. And if you want to push the look further, Moeetech runs a custom metal keycap service called More E, hand painted laser engraving, about $10 a key, free shipping past 4 keys, and a skate key with your own art on it is kind of a fun touch. Now, the build is where things get interesting. It's a hot swap PCB with PC plate, 3 layers of foam on a silicone gasket mount. Moeetech calls that the G-Tray 3.0, which is just a name for silicone gasket sock mount, so don't let the marketing jargon confuse you. Couple things to flag. The PCB connects with a ribbon cable, so it works, but I just prefer JST myself. It's not a huge deal. And the truth is, ribbon cable is probably used here for the AK polling. Also, while there are spare parts in the box, there's no spare ribbon cable, which that's the one part you actually want to have a backup of. And then the feet. It's a weird call here. They're stick-on and they cover the case screw, so to open the board back up, you are peeling your feet off. Moeetech, if you're listening, an easy fix for the next revision, 2 holes per screw area, removable silicone friction feet, same clean look. but the board comes apart without wrecking anything. There's also no removable standoff, so if you rather build without plate foam, you don't get that choice here. It's worth knowing if you're picky about your mount feel, since standoffs can kind of make the parts that are there at a little bit stiff. Okay, the sound. This is where I have to be straight with you because the sound is the thing I care most about in a board. The L01 is thin case, thin everything, which is the whole appeal, but it means there's barely any room inside for the board to resonate. Add 3 layers of foam and you get a pretty dead, muted sound. Now, sound's subjective and dead isn't necessarily bad. It's quiet and controlled. If this were mine, I'd build it with a long pole switch to kind of put some character back into it. And along with the tight feel, though, it's better than I expected because with that little space inside, you'd assume it will feel dead too. It doesn't. It's firm and responsive. Your input lands and comes right back. Not mushy at all. Quick note on how we test. Since you're here in a second, we run our sound test with plate foam only when the board is meant to be built with foam, and there's a reason. PE foam is such a strong modifier. It changes sound so much that you honestly stop hearing the board's own character. Case foam quiets everything down and hides any case ping. Plate foam alone lets the board's real character shines through and let us catch any pings worth worrying about. So what you're hearing is the board, not a foam sandwich. On feature, this thing has gaming specs, AK polling, something called more fast oversampling, SOCD support, all set through Moeetech's WebDriver, which worked fine for remapping. And one thing about the spec sheet, the product page leads with 40K polling rate. That 40K is an internal oversampling number, the rate that actually reached your PC as 8K, which is still fast, but 8K is the real figure, and even Moeetech's own material says 8K, so that's what I'll quote here. And keep it in perspective. This is a mechanical keyboard. 8K polling and SOCD are a nice bonus, but there's no rapid trigger, no adjustable actuation. That's Hall effect territory. And there's an HE version coming later if that's what you want. It's also wired only, and the driver I'm on is still in beta build, so the software may look different by the time yours show up. So who is this actually for? Because the board's a bit of a contradiction, and that's the most interesting thing about it. It's a kit and not a pre-build, which usually says made for enthusiasts, but there are no PCB layout options, no plate options, no removable standoff. The stuff enthusiasts actually fuss over isn't here. The price sits firmly in newcomers range, and yet the case finish is what you expect on a board that costs twice as much. And when you put all of that together, the picture becomes clear. This is for someone who is newer to the hobby, who prioritizes aesthetics above all else, someone who wants a board that looks like a $250 custom but costs $150 and they get to build the board themselves. If sound tuning and configurability are your top priorities, this is not for you. If the look is, it's a strong pick and an easy one. One bit of a fine print before you buy. Moeetech's policy says they guarantee the visible surface meets their standard, but there might be minor flaws that you cannot see once it's assembled. There's a 3-day refund window. And my take here is, if you can't see it after the build, I'm personally fine with it. But if a hidden flaw is kind of the thing that gnaw at you until you can't sleep, you know who you are, don't order it. Now, before you go, I want to know what actually drives your board choice. Is it the look, the sound, the way it types, or the feature list like wireless, Hall effect, AK polling, all of that? Drop it in the comments because this board really tested my own answer. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next build.